Hello, Pavlov is you, and today we'll be talking about really interesting device. It's created by Fosi Audio, it's K7. Fosi calls it gaming DAC, and actually it makes sense. It's a pretty good desktop DAC with AK4493 as conversion chip, but also it has XMOS for USB interface. It supports Bluetooth with all family of aptX codecs. It has coaxial and optical inputs and a pretty powerful amplifier, up to 2.1 watts per channel for 32 ohms load from the balanced output, which is pretty impressive. But also it has a built-in analog to digital converter that allows you to connect microphone. Also it has ability to control bass and treble, and also it has a pretty unusual design that really makes it look like a great computer peripheral. Price is $200. Link will be in the description, and let's have a closer look. Box is pretty big, with typical for the Fosi Audio minimalistic polygraphy, but unlike previous boxes made in blue colors, this one is black with some orange elements. We have a lot of foam inside and some accessories. So Bluetooth antenna, then power brick, appropriate connector for your region, then splitter for the 4-pin microphone and headphones connector into two separate 3.5mm connectors, universal USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable with adapter, and if you remove this adapter, it's just dual Type-C. Pretty convenient. And of course K7 itself, and the rest is just a foam. It's pretty obvious that Fosi K7 was designed as a computer peripheral first of all, and not a typical audiophile device, because here we have more different design language. We have a lot of mechanical controls, and that's actually the strongest part of this device in my opinion. But let's take an overview first and then dig into controls with more details. It's made of metal and it feels relatively heavy. I suspect that Fosi put some metal weight at the bottom of this device because the center of mass is shifted toward the bottom side, and in combination with these rubber feet, it gives a great reliability in terms of standing on table. It's really unlikely that you accidentally can pull it off your table by pulling the wire. On the front we have all main inputs outputs, microphone input, and single-ended headphones output, and 4.4 balanced headphone output. To make microphone input work, you need to use USB audio control 1.0, but more on that later. On the rear side, we have input for power, USB Type-C input, optical, coaxial, and Bluetooth. So you can connect virtually any device you'd like. Pretty universal. And also you have RCA out. Probably most users will use this RCA out to connect some active speakers or some amplifier for the passive speakers, but set of inputs and outputs here is like wide and exactly what you need. All controls here are mechanical. We have 5 buttons and 2 knobs with encoders that can be also pressed. And Fosi here went an extra mile to make everything tactile. Sometimes even a bit too tactile, because clicks are pretty loud. But it's still better than silent clicks. You can definitely hear and feel every single press, which is pretty important, especially, for example, for blind controls, where when you in the middle of some cyber battle or something like that, It's, you know, the more I used this device, the more I thought that we need more buttons and knobs in regular audiophile segment, because mechanical buttons are the best thing we can have ever. So everything is clicky. For example, you click this button and it's turned on and it's boot on. This button allows you to turn it on off, and also it changes USB audio mode. In 1.0 mode you have more compatibility with older devices, and also you get your microphone working via USB. In the 2.0 mode you get higher sampling rates. Then buttons that allows you to select input, and as you can see it has a nice small orange screen, pretty well visible. Actually, you know, it's a kind of good quality screen, because viewing angles are nice, and brightness and resolution too. So even if the device is somewhere far from you, all these captions remains pretty sharp and nicely visible. So optical, coaxial, PCM, for example, USB, and so on. Then output button that switches between headphones and line out. Convenient when you have it. Bypass, disable all this bass and treble settings. Sometimes you can need it for some reasons. And the final button, it toggles between the functionality of this right knob. So by default it switches between bass and treble, and if you press bass you can adjust it in minus 12 up to plus 12 range, and with treble it goes from minus 6 up to plus 6, so you can adjust sound to your liking. And when microphone is connected, it also gives you third option, microphone sensitivity. Also this knob, when you press it, it mutes microphone when you need it. And here left button allows you to change volume, and when you press it, it switches between gains, low and high, which is also a pretty nice and convenient thing. Everything is well clicking, everything is built really well, so controlling this device gives me a tactile pleasure, and I really like it. Here is my improvised setup I've built for demonstration purpose with Meze 99 Classics and Meze Boom microphone. Actually really goes well with K7, and Fuse JM21 connected via Bluetooth here. Of course, for critical listening and evaluation, I used USB connection first, because USB gives the best result in terms of quality, and second, because with aptX HD I noticed a small delay in sound. It was not an issue for me, but if you're sensitive for such things, keep in mind that you will need a wired connection. But for critical things like audio video editing and gaming, I think USB wired connection is not discussed. It's the only viable option in general. So in terms of sound, Fosi put here a pretty impressive technologies, starting with 4493 DACs and ending with chips to control bass and treble. I will describe the sound in the bypass mode without adjusting any bass or treble, but keep in mind that you can change it in a pretty noticeable area. Bass adjustment gives you more body, both on low frequencies and lower mids, and treble changes sharpness of the upper mids and treble overall. So you can make sound warmer, brighter, so pretty wide area of adjusting. By default, you're getting sound that is focused on small nuances and details. I suspect that Fosi decided to tweak it this way to provide maximum clarity and precision that can be useful in gaming. I'm not a pro gamer, so it's just my assumption. So bass goes to maximum depth. It's well controlled, which is not surprising, taking into account the power of amplifier we have here. It's really well controlled, zero added weight, so everything will depend here on the record and on the headphones. If you used to some added weight, you can boost bass, or you can just select some warmer sounding headphones. Instead, you're getting really great texturing, you're getting fast impacts, you're getting really significant amount of small nuances and details. So actually, this thing is surprisingly good for audiophilic listening when you focused on the some small nuances and realism of instruments. So I am not a logical person, so I decided to select Get Lucky by Daft Punk, and I enjoyed it with K7. Really nice amount of weight, pretty punchy and well controlled, providing a good foundation for the whole melody. Mids are natural, also slightly focused on the micro contrast. Sometimes they sound analytical, so I can say that K7 is critical for the quality of records, and with the great records, of course, you're getting absolute precision and maximum, okay, not maximum, but also a noticeable amount of small nuances and details. Also, it builds a pretty wide stage. Depth is less than width, but depth layer separation is also nice here. I also suspect that this imaginary stage width will also benefit gaming. I'm not a pro gamer, but I enjoy playing some 3D actions, but only in single player mode. So in the single player mode, for example, with Quake 1 and with Borderlands, I was able to locate the enemies by ears pretty well. What else I can say? Probably nothing about the mids. Let's show some example. Iron Maiden, Fear of the Dark, a bit too dry to my taste, but nothing critical here, with great sense of epicness that is typical for this track, with nice amount of aggression for guitars and with a decent emotions in Bruce Dickinson vocals. Treble here goes almost to maximum extent. Of course, almost no layering. It's not something audiophilic in terms of treble layering, but at the same time, basic and advanced overtones are represented well here. Treble is natural, with fast attacks and decays, with slight hint of added energy. In general, usually I'd say about such treble, if you're treble sensitive, keep that in mind and better try this device before buying. But here you can easily reduce amount of treble and get the amount of high frequencies that will be comfortable for you. In general, pretty decent treble to make instrument sounds natural. So, as an example, Led Zeppelin going to California, all that guitars that goes to the high frequency, airy, extended, sounds pretty detailed, nice, and also I enjoyed the vocal with overtones also pretty much with K7. Maybe not at 100%, because for 100% you'll need better layering, but still pretty nice results. Another positively surprising moment here is that it's a really versatile device. It has a nice black background with sensitive IEMs. With super sensitive ones, I've heard a bit of background noise, but not too much. And on the other end of the spectrum, you're getting a significant amount of power. So if you have full-size headphones with high impedance or some power-hungry planars, Fosi got your back covered. And recently they announced their own planars, so probably they thought about this usage. Speaking about the compressions, frankly, there is no much sense in doing these compressions, because Tempotec March 5, for example, or FIO K7 offers slightly better sound in terms of overall balance and musicality. But K7 is not created as musical DAC, it's created as a computer periphery, and in this aspect it beats competitors easily. I didn't test things like Sound Blaster, but as a computer periphery for music listening, for gaming, probably for work with audio, it offers a pretty decent value and tons of power, tons of connectivity, and really great controls that I enjoy. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a great day.